Hello, survivors, and welcome to Friday night State of Survival stream brought to you by Reality Skewed Gamers. I'm one of your hosts, T. McVenom. We're also joined by Finity, RSG Finity. Hi, Finity. Delete, Daedric Archon, and our special guest, Miss Tits of Fury. She's the other tits in the chat. Fury here is from State 42, along with Daedric, who's State 42, but she's also playing some of the new states with me, Finn, and Delete in 359, and so that's what we're going to talk about tonight is some of the newer state gameplay and like our opinions on it. You're here to listen to our opinions, basically. But Fury is basically my co-leader. I have an RSG alliance there on 359, and I've just been so busy with work. Fury's really stepped up. We're basically sharing leadership right now, and she's awesome. So we wanted to bring her on to talk about it because we've been ranting like crazy in our 359 chats about the new state mechanics. But we'll get all to that later. First, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the people that are in the chat. We appreciate you tuning in. We have Bean, Cheyenne Morgan, Foxy Mixie, Mama Bear, Deadpool Kyle. There's Miss Fury in the chat. Colossus. Let's see. ASDF, Red Rocket, Emmy. We have Whoppy the Great, Zeroth, Deadpool Kyle again. Zoltan. What's up, Zolt? It's my favorite. Mimi Ace, Delete's in the chat, Buzzsaw, nice to see you, and Contingent 33, hey, Contingent 33 is a longtime RSG fan, thank you for joining. We appreciate you guys hopping in the stream. So our topic tonight is, again, like I just said, we have been playing 359, and this, as everyone, maybe not everyone, but most of you know, this is one of the newer states with the new state mechanics. And hey, Maz, Kanata, what's up? Shout out to State 359. Where's Gare Bear? $2 from Deadpool Kyle. Gare Bear. Yeah, you say it 3 times. And there's Durgan. Hello, Durgan. And Test SOS. Nice to see you. So in 359, we have noticed it's a big difference from the older states, and I think we talked about this in when we were talking about last stream and state migration, about there's just completely different gameplay in the newer states. So we did do some tests. We made an RSG account in 359 an alliance, to really explore the new state, to figure out what's the big deal and what the differences are, and is it something that we really want to do for all states. And we're kind of conflicted on that now because there are some issues with the new states, and we'll go more into detail about that. But how many states, does anybody know how many states exactly are out now? I have no idea. Over 400. So, yeah, so we'll get into that. First, let me should I give out the code now or should I wait a few minutes? I'm going to wait a few minutes and let it. I have 2 codes. I'll wait a few minutes. So our biggest issue is when we joined 359, we had, obviously all of us play in other states. Now we do have Finn, who is new to the game, but Finn is an unusual new to the game person. He's one of those research for 24 hours straight. He's going to learn the game inside and out in the first week of playing. So he's pretty experienced already. But most of the people on 359 are experienced in RSG. We do have some new players, but we all know the game. And we are finding it very difficult if you are not dropping a ton of money to get a foothold with the tower play stuff. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about. One of the things that we have issue with is the tower play stuff. You got to bring down McVee's volume. Am I really, really loud? I'm so sorry. Am I super loud, guys? Oh, sorry, buzzsaw. I'm naturally loud. I'm Southern and I'm a female, so that kind of goes with the territory. Okay, so Fury. if out of all of the stuff that you've seen in us playing in 359, what would you say is the biggest issue that you have with the new state gameplay? I know I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, well, that does make sense. Okay, you got to tell me how to fix that. Desktop audio. All I have is desktop and mic aux. That's why I sound so loud.
Loud. And then go ahead and add your Yeti.
There we go.
That
Okay.
should hopefully check the Yeti thing. Now that I'm talking, is it moving? The bar for audio output?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Should be better now.
Guys, tell me if you've heard. Tell me if you can hear. Durgan, has McVenom ever streamed before? Durgan, you know me. You know this is what happens. This is me streaming. This is how it goes. Okay, so they can hear you now. Okay, Fury, let's start over. Fury, out of all of your issues that you find in 359, what would you say is the biggest issue in the new
I think
states?
the biggest issue, is the towers and the amount that you're able to have. And I checked before we started, you can have up to 410 towers for the state. And we've used not even 200, and we have a lot of area covered. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't allow for, all of the alliances in the state, even like a top 20, to take over enough territory to build a strong alliance.
Yeah, and you look at the map, like if you look at our state, 359, and you look at the map, it's just like towers and snaking territories everywhere, but really, I mean, there's just so many of them, and the whole purpose is to obviously hit those resource nodes so that you can get more alliance funds, and then head towards those buildings so that you can fight for those buildings, especially those analysis centers and stuff like that, right? But you also want to snake towards the center so you can put your second headquarters down. And this is the way we were told from people that have played other newer states, and this is what you want to go for. But the problem is everybody has so many towers that all the paths are all constantly blocked. I mean, you can build, and we were some of the first builders. We were quick.
Yeah.
We were quick building. Like we had our target and our fast, like right when we were able to put down a second headquarters, we were putting it down and building out. But the problem is there's so many, and there's so many alliances fighting for the same area. I mean, like it is covered. It's covered. The whole map is covered with like snaking out territories and stuff. And our issue was that if you do put your path down, there's so many, like you could just block other people. Like somebody can go to an alliance building and completely encircle it and keep you from fighting for it, right? And if you're not a top, well, I would say a top, 3 to 5 alliance, you're kind of just done. Like you're done. You can't do anything after that. Like you can't go for any of the buildings. You can't grow. You can't, I mean, it's really difficult to not be a spender, a heavy spender in these new states. Go ahead.
Right. And it's not even just the buildings too. It's your alliance tech. Like you need to get the resource nodes in order to do your research in tech. And if you don't have enough, if you're not getting enough resources every hour, then your tech is going to be super slow, and then your stats are going to suffer.
Yeah.
So it's not balanced for free to play at all.
Yeah, which is confusing because that's the way it was described, is that this was going to be the balancing. The new states were going to balance out the play from the old states, where the old states you have these super powerful, and then the non-spending or the not so powerful alliances didn't really have a way to compete. Well, the whole push for these new states was that you have tower play, and then if you are strategic with your tower play, you can combat against these bigger alliances. But we have found we are strategic. We know what we're doing. We know what we play very smart, and we were not able to do it. We just could not do it with just strategy alone. You have to have that bulk power right off the bat to be able to, use these and get to your alliance tech, get these nodes so that you can use your alliance techs. And I think it was either you, Fury, or Nero said that if they would just take the tower amount down by like half, I don't know. What do you think, Delete? Maybe half?
Yeah, probably half, because it just allows for so much, and really the gameplay format is just designed to condense alliances so much faster. This, because then it's like, we've lost out on this, and now I just have to basically crush my own alliance and go to this one because I can't catch up.
Yeah.
So there's no catching up at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and then
go ahead.
So, I mean, and you made a point earlier, like if you're not have all these spenders in your alliance, if you're not the strongest, then it makes it more difficult to do all these buildings. And if you also don't have the knowledge that you need to be on top of building, that you're going to suffer too, because even though the strong people may not have the knowledge, they're going to take your towers down overnight. And what are you going to do then? They build up and then they can defend properly and you can't. And so we've talked about this before, but probably one of the reasons why there's so many new states now is because they have new players coming in to these new states and this new territory battle dynamic for this game, and they don't know what they're doing. They sleep on building, and then they're screwed, and they have to start over in another state. And that's probably why there's such a big push for more states.
Yeah, I really want to question the devs about their data as far as, are the people coming in, are they opening new states because they're filling so fast? But are they filling from brand new players, or are they filling from alternate accounts being made? Because we found, honestly, we were in and we debated moving to a new state, and we are skilled players. And we debated because the state is crap now. Like, there's nothing that we can do at this point if we're not going to spend now. Because, you have alliances that are just unreasonable. They don't want to negotiate. They don't want to understand. They don't understand the whole concept of a healthy state. And you want everyone to grow, and you want everyone to be active. And some of these newer states that don't have the experience in state of survival to understand that concept, they were just not just hitting alliances. They were hitting towers and headquarters and burning them flat to the ground, like just destroying everything. And these, we had one of the top 5 alliances. They're completely dead now. Like, we were debating jumping to another state just so that people like Finn and our new players like Durgan could learn the game in a normal state. But I'm wondering if that's happening in all of the new states, that they're just jumping. People are just jumping, and so that's why the states are filling up. So is it really new to the game players, or is it, people just jumping, new to the game players that are just jumping state to try to find that ideal, easier one that they can play? Because, it's super frustrating. Yeah, and we heard a lot of people in the states saying, this is all about money. If you aren't in a spending alliance, you should jump into a spending alliance. But that's not really a smart tactic either, to be honest. If you're trying to create a dynamic, healthy state and everybody jumps into this conglomerate alliance of like 5, who are you going to fight? Like, who are you going to fight?
Quit from boredom.
Yeah, if everybody decides, oh, this is too hard and I can't play this way, I can either jump or I can join my enemies and join this conglomerate of 5 alliances that are in the top, then who do they fight? Because everything else is dead, and it's just those top 5. Eventually it'll break off and you'll be fighting each other. I mean, I guess you could totally do that if you wanted to, but that's not really a dynamic state to me, I don't think. Healthy anyway.
Right.
The other thing, like you said about the tech thing, is it's really hard to get your tech level up with the tower situation the way it is. I feel like, do you think that they need to do a different way to build your tech up versus just alliance resources?
Yeah, they either need to allow, when you're donating to your alliance, to allow a portion of those resources to go into like a bank or a warehouse for your alliance, or create another building and allow members to donate directly to that building, like another warehouse. I mean, you have to have some use. If you're donating, you need to have some use for those resources as well, because now resources have a bigger play in these new states.
Yeah, which I honestly kind of dug that at first. And I think it would be really cool if they did take the tower amount down, because then that's a whole nother dynamic that's fun to try to catch those resource nodes. Because it was fun at first when we were like the first ones to get that gas node. But then the tower defense, which seems so stacked to us, like if you read the tower defense description, it seems really stacked. Like, okay, we put this tower down and we can actually get defensive kills in the tower because it seems really stacked. I don't think it's as stacked as it seems. I think you have to have your alliance tech built up for it to work that well. I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out from maybe some of you guys that are in the newer states that have played longer. But it just doesn't seem that stacked when you're fighting against, like, you know, people that have T8 and T9 when you're still rolling with your T5 and T6. Like, it's, you know, your towers aren't going to stay up. So you can't, those alliance res is gone, and then you can't work on your tech and you can't do anything. You're kind of like just stuck in the mud there. So Bean donated $5 and said old states rock. I tend to agree. I think they had the good. I think they were trying to increase the gameplay in a more dynamic way, but they went a little too far with it, with the amount of towers and maybe some of the other aspects to it. I do like the. What do you guys think about the analysis buildings?
I mean, it's cool. It's cool that different, like, basically you have to design, because you get 2 HQs, and you have to design where you want, you know, to basically place those based on what's going to be the best analysis center for the style of gameplay like you have. There's one for a research prop. There's one for basically attack. There's different attributes for these research analysis, and you have to defend them too. It's not like you win them once and then you have them forever.
It's a long defense time too. How long is it? Like 24 hours?
It's like 24 hours.
Yeah, you have to hold them for 24 hours. That's kind of excessive, I think.
On top of building towers continuously, on top of, you know, running your dailies, on top
your
of
traps,
your trap,
your horde.
It becomes a lot to kind of keep tabs on, you know, and it forces you to basically, you know, have that second builder, you know, right off the bat, and then continuously just going and being like, okay, you know, I've really got to work on my research to make sure that I've got enough marches, you know, and my VIP level's right, so this way I can get the extra march there, or else you couldn't play the game set up the way that they wanted to. It would have been better if they just added research and analysis centers in the old states and kept that going, you know, than going so over with the new state, you know, because the idea is sound. It's just in actuality, when you start to break it down, it's like, wow, you know, this really stacks it against you.
Well, I wanted to talk to Daedric about it, like kind of explain him about it. But first off, Tiberia Valentin said £2 donation for Day to get a haircut, bro. And it was funny. He just came in with his hair and was like, oh, he doesn't care. It's nuts. He's handsome and he knows it. He's handsome and he knows it. So Daedric, the thing with the towers, you have these extra buildings. I don't know if you've checked out any of the new states. Have you checked them out at all?
No, I haven't. I haven't needed to, because you guys have been my source of information. But I'm already playing another game, Rise of Kingdoms, with an identical platform.
Wow.
Oh, so the way it works is you have the towers, you have these extra alliance analysis buildings on the outside, but you have to have your territory butting up against it for you to be able to attack it. But what's happening is the big 3 alliances or whoever's in there are surrounding and cutting off the fair, fun gameplay to it, which, I mean, that's a tactic. It's fine. But then when you try to go around them, they're cutting those off. So they kind of essentially block you in, which it's so stupid to me, to be honest. Like, why would you not want some competition? It's like you're wanting them to stay small. They want to be the big fish in a little pond kind of thing, which doesn't make sense to me. But I like the aspect of having to maneuver your territory in order to fight for something. I think that's a cool aspect, but there should be a way where you don't block it off from everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you can only hit one side, or you can only have 2 territory blocks up to 1 at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like something where
can only be up against 25% of the building.
Exactly, something like that, where so that you have more people and people can actually compete for those buildings, because essentially what they're doing is nobody's getting to compete for anything, and it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that would be a good change. Just decrease the tower amount, make it to where you could actually, you have to limit how much you can butt up against these analysis buildings. The other thing I think that we had talked about was what did you say, Fury, about the Alliance Res maybe being a secondary, or was it you or Finn? Somebody said something about the Alliance Res being a secondary for research. Finn, was it you? No.
There should donate to both, though.
Yeah.
You should donate. Whether it's like, whether the like sort of like survival of the fittest is a different challenge every day. Maybe like if you clear a certain amount of infected, a percentage of the infected that you killed goes into Alliance reserves or something along those lines. Which is one day it's plague zones, one day it's whatever horde score, whatever the case may be. It should cycle through, because you can't catch up. You can't catch up to like a big alliance that's just going to go ahead and just kind of completely annihilate everything else, and it's kind of very short-sighted to be that big alliance, because it's literally called state versus state. So if you only have a certain amount of players playing in your state, even though you're strong, you can't win. So
yeah,
kind of play it that way.
Yeah, I think, and they're what they basically have done has taken the game that on all of our older states, there's a level of diplomacy that we all have to kind of play a little bit. I mean, you don't have to play, but we do sort of play it. But they have taken that part out of the newer states to where you don't have to play diplomatically if you don't want to, because you can straight up just hoard all the spenders and then surround everything and block everything off, which I don't see how that is fun I don't see how it's fun for the people that are investing too, because they're essentially unknowingly ruining their investment too. And that's what we've been trying to do, talking to these guys on 359, is like, this is not a fun, trust me, this is not going to end well for you later, because half of the state has already jumped. You don't want to kick everybody out. Daedric, what's your take on the new states from just hearing us? I'm seeing you like,
Yeah, so I can already tell the one major piece that they missed, and that's zoning. So all the issues you guys have talked about can be fixed with one change that they didn't put in the new state with the game mechanics. So I'm going to reference Rise of Kingdoms again. Rise of Kingdoms, identical platform to what State of Survival is operating on now in terms of alliance mechanics. The number of towers they have is actually okay. It's the zoning that they missed. So what I mean by zoning is, do you remember when the state first started, things were fogged off, like you couldn't see like the floor? The kingdoms were actually zoned. So you'd have, let's say, Kingdom of 359, but you'd have your own zone that a whole bunch of alliances would spawn in. And there's actually this pass that you have to capture after a certain amount of time the state has been open to go into the next zone. Well, in that zone, there's also alliances that started there. The map itself is like 10 times the size of the State of Survival map that you're operating on now. Because everyone, the zone that they start in is actually the size of the state you're playing in. Like that's the size of one zone. There's like 12 of those zones in the kingdom. So by the time the fog of war clears, you have access to all 12 zones. So the 400 towers you have, the amount of alliance nodes, the amount of analysis centers or buildings you can capture, every alliance has the ability to gain a foothold in the kingdom because of the size of the map. So you could even be alliance number 30 on the list, but you still have a fair share of territory, resources, etc., because the map is so large. It's very hard for someone to block you off. They'd actually have to intentionally waste 50 to 75 towers just to box you in.
Yeah. Not worth the waste, yeah.
Yeah, because the map is so large, you'd actually be wasting time trying to cut off an alliance versus trying to go and capture territory. So the size of the map and the way they zone it actually forces you not to necessarily share, but to be very strategic with where you're placing your towers. You know, what resource nodes you're going after, you know, where did you start, and where are you, you know, where are you directing your territory to? And the squares are set up in such a way where when you build a tower, it covers one whole side of a building. So you could only have 4 alliances connect their towers to an analysis center, for an example. So somebody wouldn't be able to surround it. You were limited to one side only. So once you've built a tower, then 3 other alliances can connect their tower to that center. So you're restricted from having a monopoly around a building, which is cool, because if you think of capital, you know, the ideal setup for capital is you have one alliance on each of the 4 sides of capital, right? Four alliances battling for capital sounds like a fun idea. Well, same idea right now is you could have, you know, the monopoly alliance of estates surround the entire capital building, and you're forced to the 5th, 6th, 7th rig out, and are at a disadvantage automatically. So, you know, you guys come up with a good point that right now, the way it works is they're really forcing people to burn towers down. That's the intention right now. The intention is to force alliances to cut through territory, burn towers, and basically push through blockades. But if they added the map zoning, that would fix pretty much all the issues you guys have been discussing so far.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. They're forcing people to burn through towers, but it's not even that. It's the fact that the people that are able to burn through towers, the gap is so much more exacerbated now, because now you have your spenders, which we've always had that. You have your spenders, and you have your dolphins, and you have your free-to-plays, and we've always had that. And you have alliances that have a mixture. But the way they're making the new states is that they're making that gap so huge, because everybody's jumping into the high spending account, you know, the alliances, and if you don't spend a good amount, and we have some spenders in RSG, but if you don't spend a really decent good amount, you cannot burn through a tower. You can't burn through a tower unless you have T8s and T9s to go burn through them. And you can't defend your towers when those come down to burn through you. So you're kind of at a standstill, because then you can't get the tech, you can't get the growth, you can't get the, you know, resources and stuff to do that. So it's really increasing that divide. And any kind of game, Finn can tell you right now, any kind of game needs to have a really good balance between your free-to-play and your spenders. There's got to always be a chance still. You want the spenders to have an advantage, but you don't want the spenders to have so much of an advantage that no chance available for the free-to-plays at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, Finn, what is your take on the whole thing? Finn, even, like, what really demoralized me and Fury was we were all for, it's okay. We have the strategy. We will persevere, and don't worry. They will get bored, because we can hold out, and we can ride this wave out. They're going to be sorry. It's fine. But we can handle that. But what we were concerned about was our new players, like Finn, Durgan, the people that are new to this game, and they come into the game, and this is the game they see after like a week in, and everything they have built is just completely destroyed. Finn was like, this game sucks. I want to delete it. I want to uninstall this game right now. And that was what really humbled me and Fury. We're like, oh my gosh, this, for new players coming into these new states, no wonder they're jumping. No wonder they're quitting this game because of this.
Yeah, I don't know, someone was in my PMs about just kind of like, yeah, this is our third state. You know, this is our third state of our, like, you know, we pick up a couple people from the first state that we were in, and we're like, oh, this sucks. And we went to the next one. We picked up a couple more, and then we went to the next one. And then, you know, it just seems like they're just making a progression of jumpers, you know, to continually keep bases, you know, because, and just starting all over again until the game experience becomes where it's like, wow, it sucks.
Yeah.
Either I just want a professional farmer, or I can't take place in any of the fights or do anything in the prior, you know, in my prior states. Yeah. So they just instantly become dead to the world.
And somebody, Yeah, and somebody said something about new states die fast. Slick said that, and then somebody said, "Wow, the new states sound horrible." They're actually not. It's still you still have that fun game experience that is State of Survival that we all do love. The State of Survival game. We had so much fun in the beginning. Everybody does when you first start this game. It's just fun. That's still there, but there comes to a point where the progression starts to slow down, and then the states start dying off. It's not that this can't be fun. That's why we're talking about it, is that we know that these new states can be a lot of fun. And honestly, the migration talk, if we're all talking of moving there, these are things that I would want fixed before I moved there, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't want to move. You know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't want to move my whole alliance from 125 to a new state gameplay when all this is kind of broken. Like, we would just move from one state that has one problem to a new state that has worse problems, So I think we want the new states, but we want them fixed, these issues fixed. Finn, I'm sorry, we've been neglecting you. What is your take on the new, coming to the game in these new states? What is the thing that you've noticed, not knowing the game, but you see there being a problem with?
Well, I mean, you're not neglecting me. I have no point of reference like you guys do to the older states, so I can't I can't do any kind of comparison. But what I can say, just from everything, okay, so the punching down aspect is something that's in a lot of games, especially with anything that is PvP oriented, right? And this, I was talking to Durgan like the other day, and it reminded me a lot of, for anyone that played World of Warcraft, Stranglethorn Vale, how you would just have these people, because that zone was designed for level 30s, but in a PvP, it is the first uncontested one where you're not protected, and it's a full PvP. So if you're on a PvP server, a level 60 can come and just one-shot you. And Stranglethorn Vale was one of the most infuriating zones for a lot of people. And so that's ultimately what that felt like when when we were getting kind of attacked by a guild or an alliance that was 20 ranks higher than us. And it's one of those things where PvP games, and I understand it, will often generate money through rage. Put it that way. So these kind of things actually help, because either you are fueled by the rage and you're just going to start spending. You're going to be fueled by the rage, but just kind of feel helpless and see what happens, or you're going to get fueled by the rage and quit, right? So it's one of those three things that happens with it. And ultimately, I think they're maybe banking on more people to be in the first group. And to be honest, that's where I used to be, a little.
You came close in 359.
A few years ago, if you had caught me in that situation, the card would have been dropped. So it was close. So it's one of those things where it's about what the game is trying to engage. Right now, in terms of somebody spending money and the rewards they should get, right, it makes sense to me that they should be able to kill someone lower than them, right? I think in the attacks that we had, there were somebody that was 4 HQs higher, so they had 2 sets of troops actually higher than us, I think, at the time, except for D. So they were able to crush us, right? It's not a matter of that. The problem was what was going on, and that's where I would probably more address it, which is that you have the ability to basically zero someone, right? And that wrecks a new player's experience, right? We had people come into our alliance the day after and it's like, all my resources are gone. What am I going to do, right? So I think part of the issue is, one, the towers, right? The expansion part is a big thing, and each alliance is able to gain way too much ground, I think, at this point. I don't even think necessarily that the blocking of walls on the research centers or anything like that is a major problem, because even to block off every single wall, you need 12 towers, right? If the number of towers went down from 400 to 120, that's 10% of your towers. But
you wouldn't be able to block off 4 buildings.
Exactly, that's the point, right? You wouldn't be able to block it off if you only had 120 towers, because then you'd be spending 10% of your towers to block off an individual building. are you really going to waste that much to try and prevent competition, right? And even if you limit the number of sides, there are people that I saw, I think 2 days ago, some of the towers have moved around, but they had only one tower connected to the building, and then they surrounded it from like 2 tiles out. And so there's just a gap where nobody can even come in, right? So even if you restrict the sides, there's still ways that ultimately people are going to end up blocking you
Oh, I
off.
didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Mhm.
They connect
So-
it with a corner and then block the outside. Oh, that's
Exactly.
so.
And then we have
People
other
are
buildings
petty
on
enough.
our map that have water on one side, right? So now you have that issue where you can't even do anything on that side. So whatever, like 2.5 sides or a quarter or whatever it is already not able to be accessed. So it's even less towers. So ultimately, the way you do it is to reduce the number of towers. So now you have to spend more wisely. Are you so invested in this one that you're going to block it off? In which case, more power to you. You're spending more towers in order to do it, right? Versus, are you going to now spend and give yourself more chances to pick up other towers? But I think reducing the number of towers is a huge thing. The other thing I would also mention is for a newer player, right, being set back is going to be a way that you get them disinterested. Right? A lot of them are going to play for a little while, join an alliance, and maybe they have spenders in there, maybe they don't. But if they ever get attacked down and get like completely wrecked and they lose all of their resources and they lose all of their troops and they come back to basically having a heal time of like 15 hours on all of their troops. And now they have to somehow manage to gather resources again because the buildings aren't really where you're going to get most of these back. You're going to have to run to like gathering nodes and try to get stuff back. Not to mention just the constant fear of being like going on a resource tile and then getting attacked because there's different things that happen in every state, I'm sure. The main thing I think is going to be that I looked at the numbers. I think the warehouse is one thing they could easily update because I think giving more warehouse storage at a lower level and then increasing it as you go up is the much better solution because people that are at later levels are going to be able to compete and get those kind of things back, right? You've been in this game for a longer time by the time you get to like HQ 30 or HQ 35 and whatever else it goes to. But if you look at a person that's like an HQ 10 and they lose everything, well, they're not good. You've lost a potential spender. And I've been looking at the packs. The packs are actually very reasonable in this game. Like they give you a lot of value for spending $5 here, $5 there. And that is the way that you get people to just do low level spending. And if you get a bunch of people that start spending $5 here, $5 there, $5, that's a whole bunch of profit. But if you don't give them a situation that makes them feel like, okay, I may not be able to compete with the number one alliance, but I am able to continue to build, and maybe at some point I'll be able to be competitive, maybe at a lower level of one of the mid-level alliances, work my way up, get some more resources from whatever is dropping, the new plague zones, the traps. I mean, because those alliances are going to go higher in trap, and your alliance may be stuck at a lower level trap, right? So, but your buildings and everything are better than your alliance, so you move up. You find a new tier. That's the general progression of a PvP. But even for a low-level spender or a free-to-play, if it feels like it's just impossible to keep up at all, right? If it's just completely impossible, that's when you either develop very high spenders or you develop people that just either play too casually that they're never going to pay anything or they're going to quit. And that's the issue that I think what I'm seeing, again, with no comparison to the older states, because I have no clue how it works in there. It's the tiles and increasing the warehouse, I think, are towers, not tiles. Towers and warehouse, I think, would be the two biggest things that I would update right now to make it a better experience, especially for newer players.
So that brings up a good point when you said about you either create people that don't play the game at all or extremely high spending players. So I remember in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I don't remember who it was, one of the producers that had talked about that their target is not the dolphin spenders, it's the Kraken spenders. That they make more from their 1% of Kraken spenders than they do from all of their dolphin spenders, right? So is that the goal then? Is that the goal with these new states? Because we know they're not stupid. There's a strategy most of the time, and there's probably been a lot of research and data put into some of the decisions they make. Was it to create Krakens and not worry about the other ones and let the other ones just fall off and create the Krakens, or is it really to create a balanced game? That's my question.
So any PvP game is going to generate Krakens, just flat out. People pay because they want to win the competition. That's where it ends up, right? So again, they're fueled by the rage. They're fueled by the competition. They're fueled by the losing. And that fuel, you are going to have people that spend. Those people are going to be there regardless if the game is designed for PvP, right? Which is what this game is. So they're always going to have that, right? It's going to be the top alliances fighting each other at some point. That's not going to change. They're still going to be spending in order to compete against each other. The question is not how much they're going to spend, it's how much the game allows them to squelch the lower players that know that they're not going to compete against them, right? They know full well they're not going to compete at the highest level. But is there something in the game that still allows them to compete, but with other alliances at their level? Right. Yeah. And we have these different zones already inside of the state, right, where you have most of the people moving out of the wastelands and into the plains because the plains just have better stuff. But those that are playing in the wastelands just still feel like, yeah, I'm competing against other people in the wastelands. And I have a chance to compete against them and fight for different territories and stuff like that.
You mean tiered zones that, like, you can fight for these buildings in this wasteland, and then if you want the higher buildings, you fight in this area.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's naturally progression. It's a natural progression. You stay in a lower zone if your alliance isn't as high. You don't want to jump into like the number one alliance and just fight with them all the time and lose, right? You move into an area of the state where you have different resources kind of set out, different tiered resources. You build your second HQ after the first one in one of those areas if you think you can compete. And basically everyone's going to build their second HQ there because they're going to want to test it out. But if they realize that it's just going to suck, you're going to have people in whenever a third zone opens up, right, that are going to move their first HQ into that new zone. Now the first one opens up, and those that are still behind are going to now expand in the first zone. Those that are in the middle will decide whether or not they want to push, and the other ones might be build two HQs in the other zone, right? It's a matter of allowing them to be in an area around people that are similar to them. But as it stands right now, it's just kind of open, and everybody is just competing for everything, right? There's not much they can do about it. It's a PvP environment, but unless you create kind of, and it's similar to what Daedric is talking about with regards to the different zones in that scenario. But they're more tiered even within the states. You don't have to even lift up a fog for other states. It's just you have in every game that is like kind of PvP oriented, you have different zones that give different benefits. And as you are ready, you progress into the new one. And the highest ones will always try to progress to the highest one because they are that uber competitive one. The other ones that may not have spenders but are competitive will find their balance. They'll find their whatever. If there's 5 different like zones of resources and it makes for different gameplay, you're going to find those 5 different zones and they're going to start automatically kind of getting themselves into the zones where they're most competitive, because nobody's going to want a situation where they're now a like rank 50 guild or alliance that goes into the zone competing against the 1, 2, and 3 that are now trying to dominate for like these uber high-end buildings, because they know they're going to lose. Well, what would be the point in that? You would be a masochistic alliance at that point. So what would be the point?
You'd be RSG.
So, hey, we're not. We're well, a little maybe, but still. So I mean, ultimately, I think that's.
Don't threaten us with a good time, mister.
Right. We were loving it.
We were.
We're like, everybody's freaking out. There's red lines. And we're like, oh, this will be fun. Just watch.
Right.
This is where the fun starts.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Little things to help balance it out. But overall, I mean, I'm still having fun. The only part that really was upsetting was not the fact that the higher alliance was punching down to hit us. It is how much benefit they got from hitting us. Right?
Yeah.
Zeroing players and getting all of those resources, being able to completely destroy our towers, like you said, and just set us back so far, right? Like the tower should have a little bit more defense.
Yeah,
even if you
agreed.
Because our highest end was only 4 HQs behind, right? Which I know is a big deal when you're only at like 20, but 4 HQs doesn't seem like a lot. Everybody else was kind of close, right? Because in that attack, there was a 26 or 20,
and then there was
yeah, it
22s and 20,
and then there was 22s
yeah.
and 21s, and we had a bunch of 20s and 19s and a 24. It's like, we should.
The defense should have kind of helped a little bit because it was within our territories. That's what my confusion was like the towers look so OP as far as defense when you read the descriptions and the stat advantages. But I think there's something with that you don't get those until you get to a certain alliance tech or something, because we weren't seeing that when we were trying to defend. And I'm still trying to filter through those reports because there was so dang many of them. But, I just don't know. But I really, really like the idea about the zoning at different levels. I think that's a really good start. And like you said, the headquarter things. Like or the warehouse thing. I don't mind people attacking. Like if you want to come and hit us, I don't care how big you are and you want to hit lower levels and you want to hit them a lot, that's fine. My big issue was not about the hitting, because I'm more of a learn to protect your crap. Learn how to protect your resources and learn how to protect your troops. If you want to play this game and you want to play it, then learn that the best way to learn is getting attacked. And I'm more all about that. My biggest issue was the taking down the towers and the headquarters. And everybody's like, what's going on? Is this how the game's played? I'm like, I've never played a state, and I've never heard of a state playing where that was like regular gameplay, that you just tear down everybody's headquarters and towers. Like, that was the news. I was like, who does this? Have you ever played in a state where that's kind of like regular thing?
Well, you generally do that tactic in the old states because the towers and the headquarters do offer an attack and defense bonus within Alliance territory. So if I'm going to go attack your hive, you actually have a 20% bonus to your attack and defense. But if I disable your towers and your headquarters, you lose that bonus. Yeah,
but that's in a state that's a year old. But in a brand new state, when you're trying to grow up all the alliances, like, what is the benefit there, Like I guess if you're going against a state, an alliance that's equal strength of you, but what's the point in tearing down a level? You're ranked 1 and 2 and 3. What's the point in tearing down a level 25 alliance's headquarters? Like, it didn't make any sense to me at all. I'm just like, what's going on? No wonder people are quitting and jumping around. This doesn't make any sense.
It was our winning personality that basically started it all off.
That's what it was. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
I'll say though, the issue that with the towers, right? To me, there's no, and maybe this is different because you guys have played it longer. I have no issue with them going after the towers, right? I think what it needs to be though is that, for example, tiers like the T7s in a tower or in an HQ should be able to compete against a T9 that's attacking, right? Somewhere there needs to be that differentiation. Now, if they full rally and just overwhelm you, then of course, right?
Yeah.
But they need to be able to.
You mean troop versus troop, like one troop versus a troop,
with one troop attacking and one troop being in the defensive, like garrisoned inside of a tower or inside of the HQ, right? They should at least be able to put up a fight. We weren't even putting up a fight, and we had like T7s in there, and we were just getting slaughtered. Right. And it's because even with the bonuses of being in a headquarters, you were getting like almost no advantage. Right. And I think that is what they need to work on, is to make it so. And I don't know what the level is. Right. Maybe it's just one tier difference, where if it's 8s coming in, 7s can survive, and maybe 9s is a little bit extra or whatever the balance is. Right. But there needs to be some kind of balance, because the first question I asked you guys afterwards, if you remember, was, how many T7s does it take to equal a T9? There was like no answer, right?
Right.
Because if you have T7s, like what am I going to do? Like, how can I help with T7s against somebody attacking with T9s? And basically the answer is there's nothing. Even in a defensive position, in a building, whether it's a tower, whether it's a HQ, I have zero chance of helping. I'm just throwing in troops there to like, okay, let me see what I can do to at least help. Hopefully there's something, and there's nothing.
Yeah,
so
how fast I can fill my hospital.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's the hospital fill rates. So I think those are the things, right? It's to give anyone with a tower and the buildings, to what you're saying, right? I don't, the unwritten rules strategy part of it, bless you. The unwritten rules and strategy part of it, I mean, those are always nice to have in these kind of games. But I'm kind of assuming from a perspective of, let's say, suppose all the rules were thrown out, right? And you can attack whatever you want. how does a alliance manage to balance out and continue to grow? And unless the defensive buildings have more bonuses that allow for them not to be destroyed so easily, especially in early game, right? There might be a zone-wide thing that lasts for like 3 months, and then the buff goes down after 3 months for the next 3 months, and then after that the buff goes down, right? They can cater these things to the time frame that a state is alive, because that's when they're progressing. Like, they know the progression of all of the individuals, especially those that are active, right? And what they're trying to do and expansions. And I think, and I haven't been there yet, but I'm assuming like the Oasis is kind of like the next big area where we can go and expand. So we have the wastelands, the plains, and the Oasis is going to open. I mean, people are going to start expanding. So a buff that helps defensive towers that lasts at the beginning slowly fades over time, gradually, to the point where 6 months, 9 months down the line, there's no buffs, right? So now it's just like what we have right now. And maybe you still have the issue of punching down, but at least at that point, people have been here for 9 months. And at that point, either they've invested or they haven't, right, into the game. And they've worked hard to build up their stuff. And it is what it is. So, I mean, I that would be my thought. Sorry, Furry, I know you're saying something.
I've always felt like caps should be determined, in a different way. Either they make them unlimited rally caps for, defense, where your HQ can take everyone in your entire alliance. That a full march from everyone in your entire alliance should be the rally cap in your HQ. It shouldn't be based off of the top player in your alliance. So this way, a smaller alliance, if they're getting attacked, can fill the HQ to actually put up a fight. Because then you've got, someone that's got a rally cap of 1 million, but yet your HQ, because you're a larger alliance, can fill and hold 3 million. Maybe that T7, 1-3 versus T9, 1-3 ratio, if that's what it is, because I don't think we'll ever have a straight answer for that, comes into play, it'll actually make more sense, and then you can compete, but right now it's like, well, it's really the rally cap of the first person in, and if you don't coordinate who the first person in, then the rally cap changes. The next thing you know, you can't really protect yourself. So you have absolutely no chance of protecting yourself against a number one alliance that really just wants to wreak havoc and just destroy everything. There's no way around it.
So I think they tried to help with the towers, because they did add in the 35% killed troops buff, but it only goes into effect if it's a failed attack. So you still have that difference between the troop imbalance of, T7s are going to lose against T9s. So if they fix that piece, then it does, I think, balance out for a top level alliance attacking lower level towers.
Yeah, I mean, there's a happy
but
medium.
They've tried.
You don't want to make someone that's like a big spender, just go ahead and like attack someone smaller and lose. You don't want that.
No, yeah, they need to have their advantage. That's the whole point. Yeah.
But I mean, there's got to be a happy medium where, like you said, you protect the micro spender. Because, a lot of times, having 200 micro spenders will basically outweigh, the person that spends, a ginormous amount.
Well,
over.
Right.
Well, it comes down to, you want the spenders to keep spending, and if you create the game is not balanced right, then spenders don't have a reason to keep spending in their state, because they're the only ones they're playing. They're playing, against themselves, because everybody else has jumped to another state. So you got to keep the balance going so that they'll keep spending. Also, I needed to I completely forgot to throw up our first code. Our first code is for 1,000 biocaps, and it is Daedric. The gift code is Daedric. And you get 1,000 biocaps.
You've made it. Name in the lights.
Please, guys, do not share this in your Discord yet. Please wait and let everybody that's viewing get it. We've talked to the developers who are giving us these codes to use, and they're going to try to increase our cap for the next stream. But this stream, we still have a limited cap amount that is able to be used. So don't spread it out in your Discords. Let's keep it here. Keep it for the people that are actually loyal to the stream and watching. Wait until the stream is over. After everybody that's watched it has got it, then you can do whatever you want if there's any left. But you guys save it for yourselves. Go log in and get those caps. So first one is Daedric.
And it is spelled D-A-E-D-R-I-C. D-R-I-C. A lot of people misspell my name.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't misspell it there. That would have been bad. Okay. Let me get back. So you guys got it. So Fury, any other follow-up points with that? What do you have any follow-up points with anything else that you've noticed in the new states that you would change? I like it. I mean, other than our usual update griping that we've already done about the marches and stuff like that, but like just new state specific, I'm okay with everything else.
It's the only thing, and it's minor, but I think it would help. At least it would help me because I forget to check this. But the analysis centers, the game doesn't alert you if you own a center. It does not alert you when it becomes open for challenge.
Great.
And I think it's every 3 days, and then it stays open for 24 hours. But I mean, it's just another thing. Like, do we need to set a timer for this ourselves, or like, there's no notification?
Did we check? Did you check into the notification section? There's nothing about buildings or anything like that, because I didn't check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
That's interesting.
Like right now, ours is open for challenge, but I didn't even notice until we were 4 hours into it being available for challenge. It's like, okay, and you won't get alerted because nobody's in the building. So.
Yeah.
I think that's something they could change.
It's like the game alerts you for everything else. It's like I'll log in and I'll see like, wow, okay, 40 towers were built today. They've started construction and they completed construction, and I've got 80 emails for that. It's just like, well, why is that necessary? An actual building that you actually will fight for would make more sense to get a notification.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the only change I have left. Everything else is it seems pretty much like the older states. I think it is just this territory war that's different.
I don't like the time that you have to, I think we already talked about this, but I don't like the time that you have to stay in the analysis buildings. I think 24 hours is super excessive. Like, it's just too long to have to hold a spot. I wonder, are the other buildings aren't the same? Are the other buildings, have they changed the time on those at all?
Most of them I've seen have a contested of 24 hours so far. I don't know if it changes later on, but I think most of them that I've looked at are 24 hours contested.
I think that's crazy. Like, we don't have time to be doing that every week. Like, come on. Like, that's a lot of time.
Well, I mean, I also think that you only have to hold it at the very end, from what I can gather. Like, it's contested. There's a challenge period where you can fight for it. I'm not 100%, but you might be able to just take it towards the end and control it for like the last hour and just focus there. But
we need to look into that. If anybody knows that in chat, please let us know for sure.
Oh, or is it like Capital where it's like...
Yeah, like the most out of a certain many hour. Yeah, like a certain amount of hours. Tibaru Valentin donated another £5. Sorry, can you ask Daedric if he has a chance tomorrow to win Capital in State 35?
Yeah, start a new in an.
You're gonna jump over to 35 there, Daedric?
No, 35 is the last frickin' state I'd go to.
Oh, there you go.
What's wrong with my lipstick color, Aaron Knight? I thought it was okay. Meanie.
He's a troll.
Let's see. Any questions? I haven't seen any questions. I need to probably look it up. So, for the devs, our recap. Somebody give a recap of what suggestions we have for the new state play while I'm looking this up.
Yes, less towers overall. Build a way to make so that lower players or newer alliances have a ability to continue to play and log in and not just see that they've been crushed and leave the game by increasing the warehouse levels. So this way they still have reserves, because you could get absolutely crushed and then not have enough reserves to go ahead and rebuild your army, which would just make you start all over somewhere else. Or what was the notification on research center to know when they're being challenged. So this way everyone kind of gets alerted. What else did I miss potentially? Anything? Oh, yes. tinker with tower play to make sure that the benefits or the possibilities of protecting a tower actually are available to a smaller alliance. So a leading alliance just doesn't come around and just kind of wreak havoc on the state, creating a deader state early.
Even if it's
Using
just
resource.
temporary. Even if it's temporary.
Right.
Using resource donations.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, resource donation possibly to change to not only going to alliance tech, as well as anything else. I actually don't mind the new like market stall. You know, where it's like, hey, you know, something's on sale today. Look at that. You know, that's kind of whatever. You know, makes you click into it just to see what's available. I actually don't mind that.
I honestly liked all the changes from last week except for the March.
Yeah.
The March thing has crashed my game so many times. It's frozen it where I can't get out of it. And in a PvP game, for something to crash your game when you're trying to do things real time and then have to wait for like 2 minutes for the game to load up, that is not a good thing. So I don't. Yeah. I mean, they added the little captain thing, so it's nice at least. It's you can at least select your captain for the rallies and marches, but this is I'm really not a fan of the marches. Everything else, like I was happy with,
the market. But you didn't get to enjoy the market before, though, did you?
No, not the market. The marches.
Yeah. I know, but you said that's the only thing with the update you didn't like.
Yeah,
the market's awful now.
I had the market before. I mean, I had the regular one.
The fact that you can't buy like a port with res right now. That's the other thing that they need to change in the new states. Can you?
I just had I had an advanced port show up in the market.
I have not seen any
lumber.
I haven't seen any market res ports or talent.
No, I had one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see them.
No, that's good.
Yeah, they're not. They've never been common for me.
Yeah, they're not.
Because I know you told me like the advanced locators like try to get those, and I've only seen like 2 so far. One was for I think 3.3 steel, and another one was for 7.7 lumber. But they have shown up, but it's not frequent at all. Not at all.
Yeah, that's the thing that bugs me about it. It's really expensive to port in the new states. Like they're not. Go ahead, Terry.
Talent resets.
Yeah, the talent resets. That's what I was telling everybody in the new alliance. They kept asking, "What do we save up for?" And I'm like, get your talent resets and get your ports, your advanced ports and your talent resets. That's really what you should be spending all of your, honestly, all your alliance funds on to me right now. I do like the fact that they're putting the gear parts. I like that. I would think later when you've got all the stuff stored up that you need, that's kind of a cool thing, but they don't really give you that many. I still think the store ports and the store talent resets are the best way to spend your money.
It is nice that you can use caps for more things in the newer states than you can in the old. You know, being able to kind of tap it and buy chief gear is pretty nice. You know, not all of it, but almost all of it. Almost all of it, I should say. I think one piece is there's one thing that you can't buy with caps. So that's an added bonus, which is actually pretty nice.
Does no good for me though. All my caps are going to really expensive things right now, like the 30-day VIP and then Ray's Casino to try and get Maddie's shard. It's like I'm dropping like 15K caps every time I need something. It's like, yeah, I don't have any extra.
Oh, Ray, it used to be so solid. Now you were rolling. You're just busting out nonstop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, the average roll get you, or the average raise plays used to get you like a significant amount of fragments.
Yeah.
Significant. Now it's like you just got a boatload more reserve.
You got 400K wood. There you go.
In my old in 125, everyone else has the possibility to be at 80, except for the raised place hero, which is just unfortunate. Because I'm like, wow, I'm still pretty far away. But yet I've bought every pack to maximize the packs that you could buy because they've limited the amount of spins, which was weird because it was like I ended up with extra tokens I couldn't use that don't carry over, yet it's still raised place. So I guess he changes the the casino chips every comes out.
Just like a casino, just mess with you while you're there. Take your money and yeah.
So I'm gonna go through some of these questions. Oh, first
Really,
off, furry. By the way, Finn calls her furry. Nobody else is allowed to call her furry.
Nobody else.
She will show you the fury if you do that.
Hi, furry.
Yay, I will. Oh, it's on tomorrow in Capital now.
Fury just donated $5 and said, "Can we get a kitty cameo from Day?"
Well, you have to let me call you furry.
Oh.
So, the other question I've got is Red Rocket question: how much wood could Daedric chuck if Daedric could chuck wood? And then Durgan trolling, has Big Venom ever streamed before? Jerk. Bean.
Durgan can chuck that wood.
Yeah, Durgan's gonna chuck something later. I'll tell you that. Bean question: why not replace that with shared res tiles or special shared tiles? Seems a big block requiring these res buildings to be in the territory. I can't remember exactly what she was talking about. I think she was talking about the, maybe the territory, or was she talking about the towers? I'm not sure. Clarify that for us, Bean. I'm sorry, it was so far down that I'm not sure what the context was of that. Jack Buenaventura question: can you please host VIP players like M and Foxy? Oh, well, rude. I think we do have VIP players here. I think all of them are VIP players, and I do get to, do bring in guests whenever it fits the topic, and if I know them personally and it relates to the topic that I'm going on. And basically, it's just, we invite who we want to invite when we want to invite them.
Can I answer for you?
Yeah.
Listen, Linda, we're going to let whoever we want on the stream whenever we want.
Thank you.
Okay? That's the way it works.
Yeah, and it's happened before. The more it's like asking me, can I have R4? Can I have R4? Can I have R4? No, if you ask me, you're probably not going to get it. Just saying. But I do love M and Foxy, so I probably will have them on there, but not because you asked.
Hey, here's who we should invite. We should invite Christine to explain how infantry works in the trap.
God.
Daedric.
Wouldn't that be?
Yeah. I like how you're doing this with your hand, Daedric, because you're also beating a dead horse over and over again. But just beating that horse.
You should be going and getting a cat, Daedric. I don't know why you're just sitting there.
But to get back to the other question, honestly, Em and Foxy are going to be on. I'm going to have another girls stream, ladies night only stream soon, and they will most definitely be guests at that time. So watch for that.
My cats would do more damage in the trap than his infantry.
Ooh.
Okay, Deadpool Kyle. I wasn't asking for me. I know McVenom is married, but someone asked that question a lot. Is McVenom married? Well, I think most of you guys know. Roll on in here, Mr. McVenom. There's Mr. McVenom right here. He does not play games. He's basically just...
I don't play games.
He does not play games. He comes in. You'll see him sometimes occasionally bring my coffee. He's very supportive of me playing games, but he doesn't like to play any games. But there you go. That's Mr. McVee. Okay.
Dreamboat.
He'll just sit there and stare. They call him the Dreamboat. All the guys have like this huge man crush. Finn, Daedric, Delete. They're always flirting with my man here. Did you just wink at them? You just winked at them. Get away from that. You can't talk to them anymore.
That's for all you guys.
For all you guys. Let's see. Any more questions?
McVenom can call me furry.
Yeah. She said, Fury said that you can call her furry, but that's it. You and Finn.
Now you're definitely not getting the cat.
Let's see. Who is on here? Oh, Whoppy the Great said, question, Daedric, can you wave? You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. Anonymous SOS said, question, what's your take on opposing settlements that are not able to port anywhere in your territory for battle? Actually, I love this. I do. I didn't think I would like it. I thought, man, that's whack, but I kind of like that whole idea for the fact that it does combat the balance issue that we do have. Me and Fury were like debating, like, what can we do here? Do we pick up and move? What do we do? And we all kind of were on VC trying to figure out what to do. And we came up with the idea to just make our base freaking huge so we have more time to reinforce each other because they can't pour into our base. So I actually enjoy that aspect. What do you think, Delete?
Right.
Do you like it too?
No, I think it's a great thing, because it's protection wise, it makes perfect sense. Where you could potentially make it, if you had a strong enough alliance, that you could make it a 10-minute march to anywhere in your hive, And if you position yourself right, you can actually use that to still have a research analysis center, or an analysis center, period. And then kind of make it where you just have a huge section of the map that no one can come even close, so that just provides a lot of protection. And it's a brilliant play. It really is. It's a solid play when you do it that way, and you can play it that way. But you have to commit to that because there's only a certain amount of farms that you can get if you do that. So if you play the block protection, you don't have a lot of farms. And then you have to kind of make a commitment either way.
Delete, just make sure you're sending lots of infantry.
Always. T1s. T1s have actually defended my settlement better than anything else, by far. They don't seem to die at all, which is also news, because that's a complete lie, much like the person to not be named ever again by me.
Those T1s will crush that trap, man. I'm telling you.
You could build 1 million in like 6 days and be just lush in protection.
I'll say the strategy part of that is pretty neat also, where a smaller alliance for that reason could build out, protect themselves for a while, and then slowly remove a tower, build out, and then slowly start to shift as they feel more comfortable. And yeah, I do like that aspect. Now, that does bring up the issue of like refunds on towers and what that should do. If that's kind of what they're trying to do with the strategy, they might need to look at that a little bit more in terms of how much you get back for a tower, especially if you demolish it, right, versus somebody else demolishing it. I think there should be a bigger return to the alliance for that, now that I can actually see those numbers. I had no clue what it was before. But looking at it now, yeah, they should probably do something with demolish values for your own towers.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it for, like, if you manually do it, no damage, just straight up. So
Yeah. Bean said, I know it's just me, but I don't like that at all. She's talking about the territories not being able to port near them. Of course you don't, because you're the top fish. Like, you're the top fish in the pond. You're going to want to point there. But as far as balance, I think it's a good aspect to the game. I really do think for defense, like, it's pretty good. And Aaron Knight said, if you do it like that, it turns into like a territory war, like Tribal Wars. The map size needs to be huge, and the amount of RAM cost on the phone. Not sure what he's talking about, but shout out to the Tribal Wars. That's where I got my first war game started. So I think you're the only other person I've ever seen say Tribal Wars. The question...
The map is, I don't know, you guys let me know, because I'm looking at the map. The map seems fairly big. Right, I think the issue is more the number of towers that allows everyone to spread out too much. Yeah. But I'm looking at the map and like the number of HQs and stuff, because every now and then I'll just kind of just go around just to see like how different areas of the map are and not just where we are. And there's a lot of diversity. Like, we're focused on our little area, right? Because everyone is kind of building around wherever they can see. But as I like look in different corners of the map, there's a lot of diversity in there. I think the biggest problem is just the number of towers that are there, but the map size is fairly large. So I kind of just think if they bring down the number of towers, everything else balances itself out.
Yeah, I agree.
At the beginning of the state, you have so many new alliances, so many new players, and everybody's building. but give it another month and a fraction of those will be gone because they will have quit the game or left to another state, and then we go in and clear their towers out and take over their resource tiles.
Yeah. And if they didn't if they are looking towards maybe 6 months in and how many towers you might need to really expand your thing, they could actually make it to where it's a time thing where you open up more towers after 6 months in or whatever, but limit them at first, Like, I don't,
right.
Just the tower thing, that's the biggest issue. I agree. Contingent 33, he's a longtime RSG viewer. Awesome. He's a great person. I just created a new account in 359. Woo-hoo! Join RSG. But on my other character, I was apprehensive to use the Alliance store because I wasn't sure if it was a shared store. Is that how it works or no? No. That is your store. All of the stuff there is yours. So I was the same way. Like, okay, am I taking other people's stuff? Or like, am I taking it and the Alliance can't get to it, kind of thing. But no, that's your stuff. So you can use that as you see fit. Good question, though. Buzzsaw, no, well, that was a good one. Deadpool Kyle, what about the potential update to Capital Clash they posted on Instagram? We were going to get to that. I was going to try to get to the rest of these questions first, and then I was going to read that because I saved it. Durgan had a question, will Finity be on the ladies stream? No.
Well, Julie can.
Nope. Fury? Nope.
McVenom hates Julie as much as T-Money.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Wow.
She makes me uncomfortable. She makes me uncomfortable.
I need to meet this woman.
Oh, you'll meet her. Don't worry. I'm sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
You will meet her.
Oh.
Okay, so question, does the Alliance Chief Trading actually work right in the new states? And that's from Bean.
Alliance Chief Trading. Trading or training? What?
Well,
Trading?
yeah.
Resource trading, maybe.
Alliance Chief Trading. I'm sorry, Bean. I'm lost on that one. Maybe rephrase it because I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm sure it makes sense, but I don't.
Bean, put the bottle of wine down for 5 seconds.
And then Emmy said, question, will Day Day be on the ladies stream since he's such a ladies man? Absolutely not. It's a ladies stream.
So,
The boys can have their boys stream. So I'm going to be out of town. Is it next week? Next week I'm going to be out of town. The boys can have a boys stream. They have full reign to do a boys stream if they want.
69 returns.
Oh my god.
They can have their boys stream.
Chat for a girlfriend.
And then the girls can have their girls stream later. So, yeah. They can do their own
I
thing.
make a mess of things. It makes
I
me
told
angry.
you, if you let me in on the ladies stream, I will wear a cat onesie. I told you that.
I might think about letting you have like a special 5-minute appearance or something if you're in costume. Any of you.
Okay.
Any of you guys.
Oh, so
but only
Bean
5
is
minutes.
clarifying. She's
Okay.
talking about the trading between chiefs.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
still not allowed.
Still no bueno.
Day, if you dress as a furry, you can call me furry.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll be long dead before that ever happens.
You just volunteered to dress like a cat.
Yeah, that doesn't make me a furry.
You don't have
You'd
to
be
do all
dressing like a
aspects of
furry,
being
though.
one.
She didn't say you had to become
Hey,
a furry.
no.
Yeah.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference between the costume I'm wearing and a furry. The furry costume has a zipper in a place that will not be named.
Nope.
Oh, I thought you were totally saying you were going to dress as Catwoman, and then yeah, that would have been a lot better.
I'm gonna have to Google that later. An incognito tab on that.
Don't.
Delete and I have our own special stream.
Buzzsaw had a question. Have you ever heard the saying, be careful what Julie you ask for? Yes, I have. We're not asking for Julie. Okay, so the update that was posted on the Facebook earlier was, greeting survivors. Here's some updates about our development plan. Developers have received players' feedback that Capital Clash combat is too extensive and exhausting. Based on this, the team plans to adjust the rules for Capital Clash as follows. They're going to reduce the time duration of Capital Clash from 24 hours to 8 hours. They're going to change the requirement for 8 consecutive hours to 2 hours in the rule that states the alliance that occupies the capital for 8 consecutive hours or holds the longest occupation time at the end of the event will claim victory in the fight. So what they're saying is instead of the 8 consecutive hours, you only have to hold it for 2. Is that what, am I reading that correctly or what? Yes.
It sounds awful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what about all the international players that can't get online in those 2 hours and they don't get any points for the event?
So
it's so unfair.
So basically what they did is took a complaint that we had about it being a bit too long, and they said, okay, you say it's too long, so we're going to take it all the way back to like this ridiculously short amount.
Well, it's 24 hours, and you made it, basically 33% to be controlled. Right. Now they're making it 25. So they're just decreasing it too much. You can't even utilize the tower damage,
right?
in 2 hours. As
it should be. Yeah, it should be 12 hours.
12 hours
for for occupancy.
I think that was our suggestion when we were talking about that Capital Clash. That our suggestion was to shorten it a bit from 24 hours, but to 12 hours. Like that was the suggestion, and instead they took it like all the way over. Like it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, our safer state was, it was, I don't know. It just wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. It was okay, but it was just like, it was like the state we were going against just launched 8 rallies at with 7 minutes and 7 hours and 52 minutes in, and they launched 7 rallies, and it just made it go to 16 hours, and it was just like, why would do that? It was awful. It was awful in that regard, but they were just like, we wanted to see if it was possible. All right, we won't try again, and it was just like,
Well, the Buzzsaw said that not only that, but the new March interface makes mass combat a nightmare. I'm kind of like dreading that.
Yeah.
Daedric, you're killing me. Oh my gosh, that kitty's so cute.
Right?
I don't even like cats. So cute.
Emmy said in chat she wants someone to look at her how Day looks at his cat.
Oh.
So true.
Right?
Look at it. Oh.
I don't know if that's possible.
Right?
No, it's not. So, Bean said delete would not be as much of an issue if they roll the time, meaning the clock to the next one starts when this one finishes, so it's never at the same time. Meaning they roll the clock for the next one so that the times constantly switch for when they do it. Is that what she means? I think that's what she means.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you only need... Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, next question. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Fury. Go ahead.
I mean, that makes sense. It would be nice. I'd like to not wake up at 3 a.m. every other Saturday.
Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know what time zone is 3 a.m. make the most sense for anyway.
8. Well,
is it a population that at 3 a.m. is just like, this is prime time.
Who is it? Somebody in our alliance that's like perfect time for them. I can't remember who. Was it Colo or Trace? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's in the UK. It's great. Well, that's only a portion of who plays the game.
Yeah.
If we're allowed to pick times for trap, for bunkers, for capital, for what else? Everything else, then why is capital stuck on that same time frame? It just doesn't make sense. It's not even at reset.
Yeah. By the way, today in 125, basically, I think it was like 80% of the bunkers and facilities was at 1300 today. It was insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's fun, though.
No, I can't remember the last time I've been able to do one of those, though, because of work or sleep.
Yeah.
Both important.
Yeah. Well, not personally important, but they're a necessity. Let's see. Question from Mephisto. Do you think they should add a way to vote for Capital Clash start time? The current one doesn't suit everyone.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Have it be like Fortress, where you pick your best times and then whatever the common time ends up being.
Yeah.
And then Sean.
Too, because you want to make it a pain in the ass for your strong. You really do. I'll make it in the middle of the night for our strongest alliance, just to kind of, like push. If I could, not that I'm looking to push buttons.
Yeah, you are.
Sean Orr said, if only it went for 24 hours so you wouldn't have to pick a time. And then, and of course, Sin says he loves waking up at 10 a.m. being ready to begin at 11 a.m. You suck, man.
Exactly. Point proven in UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, I'm like, I've got to take a break from the game because my eyes are completely burnt.
Exactly.
Oh.
I'm not even a cat person, but you, sir.
Yeah.
You bring the cat person.
Yeah, I don't like cats at all, and kittens though are kind of the exception. That kitten's super cute.
This kitten, because some kittens are scrappy looking, but this one.
Oh, because my buddy's cat is just like a perennial line stepper, and was just like, "Oh, thanks for putting your glass on the table, and I'm gonna knock it over every time." And it's like, "Oh, look at that! You put that plant on the top shelf. Nice, it's going down." And he was constantly just like fixing things like that around his house. It was insane.
Yeah, that's my cat is constantly knocking over my cactus, my cacti. I have lots of cacti around the house, and she's constantly knocking things over with it.
Line steppers. That's what they do.
Mephisto said maybe letting the top 10 or 20 Alliance R5s get to vote. The most voted decides the capital clash time. I kind of like that. All right. Day, you're making me want to sit on someone's shoulder and just get loved on. How mean.
Someone sent me a suggestion that they should make capital, like, they should split up the state and kind of align different alliances where it's like the top 3 alliances pick sister alliances. So out of the top 3 alliances, they go at it and they win occupancy. Then the next tier fights it, and whoever your sister alliance is for capital goes for occupancy too. So it kind of like weights it all. So it's like, yeah, you lost the top, but you won the middle and you won the bottom. You're good to go. And I was just like, that's kind of interesting. Kind of get everybody kind of playing again. Give everyone something to fight for. Yeah, we lost this hour, but we won this hour, and then we lost that hour, and then you go from there.
It's Gare Bear! Gare Bear! I think we're getting attacked.
Finally.
Well,
go take care of us. Rain us, Gare Bear. Protect the hive. Now.
I'm down the stream, guys.
Yep, time to end. So before we go, I forgot my meme. I did have a meme. You guys want to see the meme of the day? It's the after Gare Bear leaves the RSG Alliance.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
I seriously.
So for you guys watching, you don't know the inside joke, but Gare Bear is one of our most beloved members. He is a new to the game player, very active, very into the game, but he's very new, and he's a bit of a panicker sometimes. And this meme is one that Durgan made for us because Gare Bear was, I can't even remember what happened. What was it? Delete.
We were all getting reconned, and he was flipping out. It was like the first week.
Yeah.
And then, didn't he threaten to leave or something?
Yes.
And Delete immediately said, well, I'm going to burn you
every day. That's what it was. He said, I'm going to leave because nobody will help me or whatever. And Delete said, if you leave, I'm burning you every day. And Gare Bear was like in a panic about it because Delete was the biggest guy in our alliance at that time. And so Durgan made this meme, and it just cracks us up every time we see it.
And Gang Bangarang was invented.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey.
Just good stuff. Guys, we're having a lot of fun playing with the new players. We love our old states. Don't get me wrong. We enjoy it. But, you know, after you're playing an older state, when things get a little bit stale, not stale, but like you're just building and building and you have, you know, 20-day upgrades and you're waiting on your plasma upgrades and you're just farming, trying to get the res for your plasma. The new states are fun just to meet new people and teach them the game. Fury and I are having the most fun just teaching. Just, you know, little things like, you know, teaching players the game is just fun. And seeing the excitement, like Finn getting all excited about putting a tower down and, you know, things like that. I
built towers today. That was
those are fun, you know, like teaching how to trap Gare Bear and his
I'm doing
his
it right now.
craziness.
I'm attacking other people's towers and everything right now.
Yeah.
Right? He's grown so much.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's a lot of fun. So, you know, we tease Gare Bear a lot, but we love him. So he's a good sport about it, usually. Yeah. If not, we'll just kick him out and delete and burn him. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
so
I will find you. No matter
so
I find you. You're RSG for life, buddy.
Yeah. Blood in, blood out. Okay, so first code was Daedric, guys. I'm going to go ahead and give the second code. First code was Daedric, 1,000 biocaps. If you're new, please don't share these. If you have, I will find you and I'm going to kick you out and let delete burn you. But don't share on your Discord yet. These are just for the stream viewers. It's Daedric, 1,000 biocaps. The second one, the second code is Silverwolf. We miss him. Let's pour one out for Silverwolf.
Too expensive to pour out, but I will drink.
Don't pour it out, just drink it. We have Silverwolf, and the biocaps are 1,000 for this one. So you guys make sure that you redeem both of those codes for us because they go really, really fast. So go ahead and use those. Aaron Knight, if you share that code, I'm serious, I will block you from the next stream. I'm not even kidding. Don't test me.
He'll be Knight Aaron next week.
What? Yeah, right. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Finity. He's state 359. Thank you, Delete, who's 125 and 359. Thank you, Daedric, who's only in 42 right now, but I have a feeling he's going to creep around some other ones. No, one only. You're a one-state man.
Wow, loyal.
Yeah, loyal. Fury, who is in 42, 359. I feel like you're in another state, too. Aren't you, Fury?
30.
How do you have...
But I don't play there anymore. Like, I did what the noobs do. I went to 330, and I was like, F this. And you guys talked about 359. Let's go.
Yeah,
I created a new base just for state, just to kind of like catch up on their, SVS, see if they were talking crap about us. That's about it. I think.
Right. Doesn't really count.
Fury can't play any other states. She's too busy helping me lead 359 RSG right now. Like, honestly.
Exactly.
I'm at work all day, and she's on there doing all the stuff for me, so I wouldn't let her leave.
Dead.
Yeah, I haven't logged in 330 in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got a pack waiting for you.
I'm sure. It can fit.
Yeah. I agree, Mimi Ace. She said, bring back the passion for the old states too, Deb. I 100% agree. Like, we want to have the passion back in the older states. We really do. I look at Daedric's face. He wants it so bad.
I was trying to lay out what they should do first. And probably minimal would just be like shift over Alliance Tech. Shift over Alliance Tech, make towers actually mean something in our state more than they do right now. And then probably add whoa, there's a analysis center. Start the progression that way. I think analysis center would be too aggro right off the bat, but Alliance Tech would be a way to kind of start to filter things in.
Agreed.
My personal.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for tonight. We may do I don't know if you guys are down for an after chat VC party. We might all join you guys there in the RSG VC. But we appreciate you tuning in. What is next week's date, guys? That'll tell me whether or not you guys are doing a boys' night. Yeah, you are. So I'm out of town next weekend. So they'll be doing a guys' night. Either there won't be a stream or there'll be a guys' night. Just stay tuned. We'll post it out. Finn, do you want to do one? You would have to host it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do I have a choice?
No, you don't. I'm sure Delete and Daedric want you to do it. So
9 lives.
Get for all those people out there that are members in YouTube, get those RSG State 69 emotes out in the chat because that is going to return next week.
Yeah.
great. I'm glad I won't be here. All right, guys.
Cheese platter.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring the cheese platter.
Platter coming right at you.
All right, guys. Well, on behalf of RSG and all of the panel, we thank you so much for all of your support, all of the donations, and stay tuned for next Friday night's Boys Night stream. And until then, happy hunting.